Welcome to Thunder Blender. Let's install the add-on and set up the navigation. So Edit, Preference, scroll down to Add-on and install the QArchive Grabbers add-on. Type the Q and active it. Scroll to Key Map and import the Q keys. Now you can see here, can grab this invisible line and expand it a bit. We have added a Q panel with an archive panel. You can hit this button or stand still over it and see the shortcut. So, Control Spacebar. Let's see also the workspaces, Shift Spacebar, and the key map, F5. So, I really can't move here, pan or nothing. I type F5 and these are the operators for the navigation. So right click and remove the shortcut. I want to pan with command middle mouse. Remove, I want to orbit with command click and want to zoom with scroll wheel up and scroll wheel down. I want to add also the operator, zoom, command right, ensure the focus, F, so I can click over something and type F to see it. This is only one workspace, so we can use this pie menu or go up here and find the UV editing. F5 will call another panel for the key map of this specific editor. And we can set up also here all what we want. Let's go back to the layout using the upper bar or shift bar to open the pie menu and select layout. This add-on comes with an archive map. It will show all the menu all at once. Or you can read the shortcut. So it's Ctrl Q, Ctrl W, Ctrl E and Ctrl R. Now let's open something more interesting. And here we are. So let's start with the View panel or Ctrl R. From this panel we can resize the UV, the UI, resize the gizmo. If you select something with the Move tool, you can see the gizmo, and here it is. We can change the shading 3D view, wireframe, solid, or render. And we can full screen the area. Let's go back to the solid view to use the loop solid. Then we can see the X-ray. Blender lets you select only what you can see. So if you go in edit mode and try to select something, you can select only what you can see. To select both, you have to enable X-ray. And here we are. Then we can see the wireframe and the normal color. So basically, if you have a cube, the inside is red and the outside is blue. Let's take a look to the cameras. I have two cameras here, one for the front, one for the back. If I use the look button, it will only choose the active one, so the front. If I want to see from the back, I have to select it and set it active. Now, you can also change your viewport to perspective, to orthogonal, and, most beautiful, lock the view to the camera. So now I can move my camera using my viewport. Select, zoom in, zoom out, and voila. Now the object visibility features. So you can select an object and code for the local view. Select more than one. You can draw on top an object, so top. Do you see is always visible? Print the name. And surely hide an object, or more than one. Show them all, or show only a couple. For this, you need to be in the edit mesh, so select an object and go into edit mode. And now I can select some faces, or vertex or edges, and hide them, show them all, show only them, and sure, see the normal facing. The same thing of using the normal colors. Now let's take a quick look to the selection panel. So first you can use the shift button to add to the selection, and control to remove from the selection, and control shift to invert the selection. Then you can grab something and use the panel to select all the object, now one, or the inverse of what you selected. With an object selected, you can go in edit mode and select some faces and increase the selection, or decrease the selection. Then you can select all what is connected with these faces. Select the inverse of whatever you selected. Select all. And then some awesome feature. Let's add a sphere. So, selecting one face and another, we can ask for the path. Or we can double click a face along an edge to get a ring. Or we can select a face area and get the perimeter. Select a random number of faces, and then select the manifold geometry. Now let's take a look to the object panel. So let me clear the scene. And to be said, there is a wall tool for change the object position, rotation, and origin. But let's take a look to what is here. We can apply the transformation of the object. We can center the pivot of the object and send it to another object origin Then we can change only the pivot. So instead of using the tools for transform the object, we can use the tools for transform the origin. So I can snap it here, exit the pivot mode, and now I have changed the origin. Then the pivot cursor, because we have this amazing tool, and I usually set it to geometry, and you can snap it to vertex, faces, balloons, and rotation. And there is a wall pivot for what you can do using the cursor. But here you have the move the pivot to the cursor. So if I set this object here, and I also unmove the cursor. So if I move here, I can snap it back. Then cursor to 0, 0, 0, cursor to active, so Alt, and to selection. So if I do object selected or more, it takes the middle position from the selected. Then we can reset the location to 0, 0, 0, rotation to 0, 0, 0, and the scale to 1, 1, 1 of one object. And then we have the move, rotate, and scale. Because these DAS are analogic tools. You can rotate manually and feel more or less free. But you can also call the rotation and snap it to 45 degrees or follow the input on the lower panel. Then we have the randomize. The randomize will apply value from some range to the object selected. There we have the mirror, so you can mirror along the global X, the epsilon, and so on. And this gray out, let me call something simple. This mesh here, I enter the edit mode, and I can call the mirror mesh. And then we can call new object. I have a shortcut for this with control right click, and we can add the cube, sphere, set something, and path. And sure, if I have one object, this is called main core, and I can open this panel, place its name in here, and duplicate with this. I can assign a shortcut and populate my scene with clones. Then I can convert a cube to an object and vice versa. So if I make a wonderful cube, when entering the edit mode, you have the curve tools and the curved object, and get the converted edge and vertex, and go back to the curve. Then group. We can spawn a couple of objects and group them. This is called also parenting, so you can get an object, select another, and set a parent. I usually use keep transformation. So there is one child and one father. The father move the child, and the child follow the father. Release the connection with clear and keep transformation. And then you can also sometimes move only the parent. And go back. Then we can duplicate, join and separate. So duplicate. I have a command D shortcut. Join, you can select more than one object and join it. And separate. The separate will give you some choice, and by loose part will detect each mesh if it's connected to another and separate it. Or you can separate by material and get all the mesh by material. Here we are. And by selection. So if I take an object and I want to select these faces, and for some reason this, I can separate only these faces. And duplicate on cube. So if I add a circle or a path, I can shift click, duplicate on cube. I can spawn 5 of them and choose linked or not, and sure by name or selection. So here I have linked 5 copies to a cube, and now duplicate but unlinked, so I can move away my circle. And last, the booleans. So let me drop a cube, and let me drop a sphere, and we can select in the tool, then the main mesh, and remove some material, select a cube again, and this time add this mesh, and then get the combined part. And now let's see the edit mesh panel and the orient panel a bit. So let's go over here, and first, when you use move, scale and rotation, you use this gizmo. The gizmo is oriented using this default orientation, so global, local, cursor, or if you use the default version, will point to this other orientation. So leaving all the object, all the tools in the default will all refer to this. I have linked this to a tab, so hitting tab will loop my common use feature, so I can move this cross along this axis or rotate this X. Rotate using my view, so if I want to be sure to rotate in this way, I have a perfect Z rotation, or the global, so even if the object is oriented, I can rotate it along the world axis. And then we have the snap, the proportional, and the most useful X-ray toggle. So, if you have some object, you can activate the proportional editing and start to moving one object. Will appear this gray circle, and you can increase it and decrease it using the wheel to move also them with some proportional. You can see here the curve, the sphere, the root, the sharp, the linear transformation. This works also for mesh. So if you are not in object mode, but you are in vertex, edge, or face mode, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 keyboard. If I select this edge, this vertex, I can drag this up and see all the vertex inside the sphere get the transformation with some value. And I think it's all. So let's see. Merge to center and merge with distance. So let's enter the edit mode, select using the toggle view, and let's see center. You can use also faces. So if I grab the edge, I can merge them to center. Then we can select this edge loop and this edge loop and ask for a distance. So I can increase this until pop closed. Then we have the delete menu. If you select something, you can ask for the full menu that asks you if you want to delete something or dissolve this. So if you select this edge and ask for a delete, we'll remove all the faces that are part of the edge. Instead, if you use dissolve edge, we'll remove the edge without remove the mesh polygon. Then we have make. So if you have two vertex, you can call the make for make an edge, and to edge to make a face. You can use also the G. That's the common repeat operation. Then we have the bevel. That's a tool. So if I get a part and select an edge, I can use the bevel to add some bevel on there. Then the bridge. So if I select these two loops, I can ask for a quick bridge. And then the extract. So if I select something like this ring and increase the selection a bit, and then I call the extract, I can remove the ring. A duplicate and the extrude. There is a tool for extrusion, or you can select some faces, hit extrude, and they are extruded. Then you can move or rotate or anything from there. Now we see the edge UV and the normal. So let's drop a sphere, select it, and let's go in UV editing and select all the mesh to see all the UV. You can see only the UV of what you selected. So select all, and let's see. The first is the smart and the view. So if you hit view, the UV will be projected from the view. So you can get the upper part, the lower part, select all, and have to island and a drop. Otherwise, you can ask for a smart 3D projecting with some limit angle, and it will do the job. But what you really want to do is select some edges on your mesh and apply a cut. Do you see the edge change color? And now, when you ask for unwrap, Blender will unwrap the mesh based on the cuts you made. So, if you cut over here and apply another unwrap, do you see the changes? You can also clear the cuts, but if you don't have any cut, unwrap can't be made. Then we have the normal. So usually you right click and set the shade to flat, like this, or set the shade to smooth. Another option is to set the smooth, enter edit mode, and set auto smooth. This value will set where be smooth and where not. But if you select all the mesh and set it to hard, it will ignore this value. And if you hit soft, will follow this value. So if we drop 180, we can still select some part and apply a hard normal, or select some faces and apply one hard normal. And normal recalculation and flipping. Sometimes you go in shading smooth and something strange appear, or even worse, like this. If you remember, there is a normal visualization shading. So from here you can see that something gone wrong during modulation. So you can select all the mesh and ask for a normal recalculation. Or you can select every face and flip manually.